What's up, boys? MKTV here. Welcome back, channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going through some players that I think you should be avoiding in FPL for the Euro Fantasy 2024. If you do enjoy, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel as well, will be much appreciated. Drop a like on the video and we'll get straight into this one. So the first player I would recommend avoiding for the group stages at the very least is going to be Mike Maignan of France. It does look like he is going to be the France #1. That's not the issue here. The issue is he is 5.5 million first of all, which is a bit expensive for a goalkeeper that is currently injured. So he does have a finger injury at the moment. Picked it up. I think he did miss the last game for AC Milan just before, going to the Euros, whatever. So the last league game for them. So it is a bit of a concern considering he's 17% owned as well. I just would be steering clear of him just because of the fact he's an injury. You don't know as well a goalkeeper with a hand-finger injury. Would they be trusted? There's obviously options as well in the likes of Areola and Samba behind them. So obviously they're a bit cheaper as well, both goalkeepers. And for the group stages at the very least, they could both, or one of them, Samba would be my guess. But it could be Areola as well. Could be playing behind instead of him, just to make sure as well France, don't make any silly mistakes or stuff as well. With a goalkeeper with a finger injury, does Deschamps want to risk it? I'm not so sure. Again, he could play, but wait till closer to the time, definitely. And I just will be avoiding the headache of this. Pick a goalkeeper is nailed on, who doesn't have an injury, and he's just going to play minutes, because that's exactly what you do want out of your goalkeeper. I wouldn't be risking it, but it is up to you. The next player I would be looking to avoid is going to be Kieran Trippier of England. At 6 million as well, I believe he's the most expensive defender. Yes, at 6 million, I just think it's way too much for a player who you don't know if is nailed on. The competition in right back for England is absolutely ridiculous. And I just don't know, like 6 million at him, or could you go for someone like, I don't even know, you could go for, John Stones at whatever he is, and you probably know he's going to play a lot of games, and nearly every game. Don't get me wrong, Kieran Trippier could come in and play absolutely every game. That's not the issue. It's just the fact there's so much competition in the England squad as well. You just don't know the back four, what it's going to be. Will Trippier being the best four for England, especially when he is just back from injury as well for Newcastle. Been out for a long period of time. Don't get me wrong, he's low owned, which could be very, very good, and he might be good throughout the competition. But for the start of the Euros, I will be getting players who are a lot more reliable and are going to play at least in the group stages. Because at the end of the day, the players who are on the pitch more have a higher chance of getting more and more points for you. But yeah, Kieran Trippier, I would steer clear personally. If you want to go for him because he's your favourite player or whatever, I just will be avoiding him for the start of the Euros anyways. The next player we're going to be looking at is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold of England as well. So again, this could be a bit controversial as well. The fact he's 12% owned, a lot of you lot have him in your squads as well so far. Again, he could be a very, very good option for 5.5 million if he's on set pieces and stuff for England. If he's on the pitch, he could be genuinely a phenomenal pick as the tournament goes on, especially as well. But for the first few games and stuff as well, I would probably wait and see. It isn't the, if you want to wait till the first game is over, see what the England squad is looking like. If he plays in that and plays very well, then potentially bring him in. But for the start of the Euros, I definitely will be steering clear of Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's a lot of competition for the right back slot, like I said as well. He might move into midfield. That could be the case. But the fact as well, he is 5.5 million. He isn't cheap. He's the second highest price defender in the game or whatever. And he's not nailed on for minutes and stuff as well. If that does become the case that he is nailed on, he will be a good option. But for the most part, I do not think that he will be. And just Gareth Southgate likes to change things up a lot. So I just don't know, is he the best option you can go for? Definitely for the start of the Euros as well. The next player, we're moving on to midfielders now that I will be steering clear of in Euro Fantasy to begin the season, or begin the summer I should say, is going to be Joshua Kimmich of Germany. He's listed as a midfielder. 6 million for a midfielder isn't the worst, but potentially he could be playing as a defender and he's listed as a midfielder. So therefore, he'll be getting clean sheets in, as in real life, and then in the game won't be getting the clean sheets that a defender would reap the benefits of. He'll be getting the midfielder points, which just isn't really worth it in my opinion. 5% owned, and he's less of a chance of doing anything from the back, as in, scoring goals, getting assists or whatever. Whereas if he was playing in midfield, you could warrant him a little bit more. I think he would be a player I'd just steer clear of the entire competition, unless he does obviously become a very, very good option, gets loads of goals, loads of assists or whatever. I would be steering clear of Joshua Kimmich. Leave that up to yourselves obviously as well, but definitely I wouldn't be looking near him. Next player I will be looking to stay away from to begin the Euros fantasy this summer would be Aurelien Tchouameni of France. I just genuinely think the French slots that you should be probably having more than likely. Mbappe, maybe a defender like Theo Hernandez, and then there's obviously someone else that you do have a slot for. My slot would not be used on Tchouameni. There's definitely, you probably want triple France ideally. And I just think there's better, you want to use them slots very wisely. Maybe 2 attackers from France because of all the goals they score. I just wouldn't be looking at Tchouameni. He probably is going to be in the best squad for France. And for 6 million, he's not the worst. 5% owned currently as well. He isn't the highest owned player. But I just think overall there is better players that you can pick from France. And I just don't think I'd go down the line of Tchouameni. Just think there's much better options. Even the likes of a Kingsley Coman or stuff for, 1 million more, I just think probably would be a bit more worth it. Again, if he does become a very good option throughout the Euros and stuff as well, starts picking up goals and assists, obviously go ahead and pick him. But at time of recording this video, before the Euros does start, I definitely wouldn't be having him in my Matchday 1 squad or anything close in the first, few group stage games or stuff as well. Yeah, I would steer clear of Tchouameni, but again, each to their own. The next player I would be personally steering clear of is going to be Bukayo Saka of England. Now, that is the third England player, just because I think England's squad depth is very, very good as well. The attacking areas, the defensive areas, in certain areas, England's squad is absolutely stacked. If you had to give me, England's best 11, I probably would say Saka is in that. Will Gareth Southgate play him in that? I'm not so sure. I'm sure he will get some minutes throughout the Euros. Will he be absolutely nailed on? I don't think he is at the moment anyways. Coming back from small injury as well for Arsenal. I just think he could miss a few games as well, just while England try and figure out their best squad. Their attack is absolutely stacked as well. The likes of Phil Foden probably will play. He could play off the right. I personally would play Foden through the centre. But, I do think that Foden will definitely get a shout. So that does, limit the possibility that Saka does play. I personally would have Saka in my starting 11 if I was Gareth Southgate. But 8.5 million, is it someone you want to risk that you're not so sure will start every single game for England? I don't know. It is, it's worth a talking point. Is it going to be worth, Saka, is he worth 8.5? I'm not so sure. It's not the worst price, but is there better options? Potentially. Foden probably should play every game. He's 9 million. Is it worth that 0.5 more just to go ahead and, guarantee a player, or that 1 million more for the likes of a Bellingham? Maybe. I'm not so sure. The likes of Cole Palmer as well. There's so many options for England. They're just stacked in attack. I would steer clear of Saka. The main players I'd be looking at from England would probably be Harry Kane, a Bellingham or Foden, and then a defender. So I just don't see room for Saka at the moment. Maybe he does become an option, and a very, very good option at that throughout the tournament. But for now, I would be definitely recommending you steer clear of Bukayo Saka. The first forward we're going to be recommending that you do steer clear of is going to be Romelu Lukaku of Belgium. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth is this guy talking about? Romelu Lukaku should definitely play for Belgium. And I probably would say he probably will play most games for Belgium. I would recommend, or I would expect him to be playing that. But the likes of Lewis Openda on the bench, Trossard as well, tearing it up for Arsenal. There's just a lot of ways, that Belgium could line up. And, if Romelu Lukaku doesn't perform or whatever in the first few games, could line up and very well could. At 9 million, he's very expensive as well for a striker who you're not sure is he going to play every single game. He may go ahead and play every game in the Euros. I'm not saying he won't, but I just don't see that he does. I could see the possibility that he doesn't play every single game, which again, for 9 million, I want a player who is going to play every single game. And yeah, he's just not 100% nailed on for me, I don't think. With the likes of Lewis Openda, Trossard, their attack is very, very good for Belgium. So I just don't know. I don't know, is he worth spending the 9 million on? There's a 9% of the Euros fantasy player base that do have, think he is worth it and have splashed the cash on him. But I personally don't think he should be in, I wouldn't recommend popping him in your team to begin with, if I'm being very, very honest. But hey, if you want to go for Rom, you go ahead and do so. I just personally would not recommend it. And finally, the last player I would recommend to avoid for the Euros fantasy this summer would be Robert Lewandowski of Poland. Now, this could be a bit of a controversial one. He is expensive, and 9.5 million he's just as expensive as any other forward apart from Kane and Mbappe, I believe. He is only 3% owned, which, again, I actually expected to be a bit higher, to be quite honest. But I just don't really see Poland going very far in this tournament. I don't see them getting out of the group stage. Maybe they get third and do sneak into the next round or whatever. But I just think they have a tough group. He probably will score a goal or two just because he's a world-class striker. But yeah, I suppose he is nailed on, 9.5 million. I just don't see them getting a lot of goals. If there is penalties, he probably will score them. He will get some chances, obviously. But I do think there is better options in there. Even the likes of Federico Chiesa, in my opinion, probably will be a better option. Just, the price-wise and stuff as well. It just comes into account in these things. I personally will be steering clear of Robert Lewandowski. But if you do want to go for him, go ahead and do so. I would recommend avoiding this player for the time being, at least. So they are the players that I'm recommending you do avoid to begin the summer for Euros Fantasy 2024. If you have enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. I will have an updated draft coming over the coming days as well, and more videos like this one. If you did enjoy, though, massive appreciation if you could drop a subscribe on the channel and drop a like as well. Massive thank you, and I'll catch you boys next time with the next one. Peace.